Okay, guys, so our final section here, we've got a bunch of Hall of Fame producers here who've learned how to sell at a high level, but selling at a high level and building an agency at the same time. There's two different muscles, okay? We can flex our selling muscle and we can flex our recruiting muscle. A lot of us have struggled at different times in our business with flexing both at the same time. It's not easy. Sometimes we just sell, sometimes we just recruit. Mike, what would you say for you? I mean, this is something that's been, constant topic of conversation with the two of us. How has your mindset evolved on selling and building at the same time?
It's like, I don't know if it has evolved. It's just like trying to get better at it, right? Because it's either like I'm an all-in type person, so I'm either like all in on selling or all in on recruiting. And I find myself struggling to do both at the same time. So I think social media is huge. I think that, utilizing your social media and starting early, I think that was one of the biggest things that's helped me is I started talking about FFL and sharing basically before I ever even got licensed. And so people have seen, Mike quitting his job, to Kate coming home from work, to hitting Hall of Fame, to agency, to having people do, having great success. So it's like, I think that's probably the biggest thing is just like staying consistent. Cause I used to always ask Jim, I was like, dude, how do you grow? He's like, just keep hiring. Like, it's just literally keep hiring. It's a never ending job of just continuing to exposing people. And if you truly believe in what you have your hands on and you do well, people will want to follow you.
I love it. Anybody in here recruit between appointments? Okay. Rob, you want to talk about that real quick?
So understand this. You've got 24 hours a day just like a billionaire. You got 24 hours a day just like a bum. Which one you gonna be? Which one you gonna be? Now, if you've got 24 hours in the day and you're sleeping 8 of those hours, that's a third of your day that you're losing, okay? So you start looking at it, if you just work a 40-hour week, you're only working 25% of your life, okay? And if you're only productive for 32 years, basically from the time you're 22 till you're 54, somewhere in there, right? You take those 32 years and you're only productive for 20 or 25% of it, that's only 8 years. So really you're only productive for 8 years of your life if you're average. If you're average. So are you going to be average with just being productive for 8 years of your life, or are you going to increase that and sleep a little less, work a little bit more, okay, not have as much free time out there and work a little bit more at attaining your goals? Now, when it comes to whether you're going to build your business or whether you're going to run appointments, again, there's only 24 hours in the day, so you're going to have some help at some point. So if you're going to be the one that's going to be doing all the selling and going out there and doing that, you better have a good staff that's going to help you with the recruiting side. Okay, but you still got to have your hand on that, and you've got to be great at managing your time so that you can come back with the new recruits that come in each day, and you can call them, whether it's on a Zoom call at night for 15 minutes, okay, just to kind of solidify the fact that they're with you. Or if you're going to strictly go more on the recruiting side, like let's say Eric Ramadi over in Texas, then you've got to have people that are going to help you on the actual side where you're selling. Okay, you may need somebody that's going to help you dial the phone. You can't do it all by yourself. Okay, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it wasn't built by one person either. So you've got to build a really good team around you that can help you grow it, because you can't do it by yourself. And that's one thing good about Family First Life. If you just follow the blueprint that's out there that other people have done it, okay? Because these integrity partners like Dave Wichard is, that's any day he's going to get his, okay? But you look at Matt Smith, you look at Paul, Andrew, you look at all of them, Zach, you look at all these guys and you say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And they're not trying to hide anything. They're telling you exactly how to do it. They're telling you exactly what they did. So if you've got the blueprint for something and you just follow it and you stay verbatim, strictly to it, you're going to end up getting there too. It's about like eating an elephant. How you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's right. And then one day you're going to wake up and the elephant's gone and it's devoured because you ate it. That's it.
Love it. Brandon, what about you, man?
What do we?
Recruiting in between appointments.
Recruiting, I mean, it's a must. If you're running business at a high level and you're running your 30, 35, 40 appointments a week, regardless if you're in the field or on the phone, that's what the time to recruit is going to be in between appointments. So when I was in the field, when I was in between appointments, in the car driving, that's when I was on the phone with recruits. In between appointments. Now that I'm doing it all over the phone, I have a little bit more time, to speak with recruits at this time. But the biggest thing for me is, having that staff, having staff to take care of those things, to help you scale your business, where you're looking to go is the biggest piece of the puzzle. Because you have to invest that money, there into the staff so that they can help you grow the business there.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that if you have a recruiter, your recruiter is not the head of your recruiting department. You are the head of the recruiting department. Because guess what? My recruiter is fantastic, but at the end of the day, she doesn't sell insurance. She recruits people to sell insurance. I sell insurance. They're joining the agency to work with me, not with her. She's fantastic, but they're joining for somebody to teach them. So if I'm hands off and she does everything and I have no conversations with them, they're not going to stick. There's no relationship there. So at the end of the day, I'm the head of the recruiting department, and she is my screener. She screens people for me. Now, warm market, I'm talking to them every single step of the way. If I know them, my recruiter is only there to hold their hand. But I'm talking to them every step of the way. Cold market, there's so many different ways to go cold market. We're not going to dig into all of that. Some of us run, invest our funds back into, Facebook campaigns, LinkedIn hiring campaigns, Craigslist, ZipRecruiter, a handful of different ways that we find cold market people. And we have a staff there to help us, guide those people through, hey, did you watch the overview video? Did you, are you willing to buy leads, and are you down to be a 1099 independent contractor, because this is not a job? Yes? Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to introduce you to our hiring manager, or to Dean, our manager here, agency manager that's going to find out if this is really going to be a good fit for you. Awesome. Now I got a qualified individual to talk to Dean. He talks to him, sees if they're a good fit, has a conversation with them about their background, sees if it could be good, and either hires them or doesn't hire them. That's what my staff does. They screen the people for me. So one of the other things I'll kind of touch on, I think this is powerful because, everybody up here and, now Darlene has got a chance to be on a podcast. We did Darlene's this morning, which is going to be great. When you go out and you lead from the front, for me, I had no intention of building a team. I accidentally started building a team and then fell in love with it because I went out, led from the front, got put on the top of a leaderboard, and then I got asked to be on a podcast. And then I was on the podcast. It got tagged on my timeline. And then all my friends are like, what are you doing on a podcast? Looks like you're at ESPN headquarters. Like, what's going on? Like, what is this new business that you're a part of? They watched that. They got excited about it. So for you guys, like, what has, like, being so there's this saying, your friends and family won't start supporting you until strangers start celebrating you. So, like, when strangers started celebrating you guys and it started getting tagged, on your social media, like, what has that done for you guys from a warm market perspective?
I know for me, I have classmates that are in my agency now that I hadn't seen in 15 plus years since we graduated from high school, that have reached out to me over the last 3 to 6 months because they were watching me on social media, on Facebook, for about 3 to 6 months, and they just reached out because they saw the rise that I was on, and the fact that I was getting better and better, as they continued to watch. And so they finally decided they felt comfortable enough to reach out and ask exactly what am I doing, what am I part of, how can they get involved. But it took them actually, watching from afar, for a while before they actually, came forward. So if you just, be boisterous about what you do, don't be a secret agent. Like, everybody needs to know what you do, and put yourself out there. You'd be amazed at how many people are actually watching you, and some may be waiting for the fall, but there's some that's also waiting for you to continue going up so that they can get on the train with you as well.
That's it. And you got to advocate for yourself. I mean, most of y'all live within an hour, 2-hour radius of here. Some of y'all a little bit further, but this is Metro Charlotte area. You guys have this beautiful podcast studio here. If I were you, I'd be doing whatever I can to get on the radar of the leaders here and advocate for yourself. Like, I want to do a podcast. I helped 10 families this week. There's not one person in this office that wouldn't spend 30 minutes with you on a podcast because you just proved that, like, you're serious. Now, if you're somebody that's like helping one family a month, one family a week, and you're like, yo, I want to do a podcast, like, what for? What are we going to talk about? Yeah. But I can guarantee you, even if you're not on Robbie's team, you're not on Mike's team, you're not on Dave's team, if you guys come in here and like, I helped 14 families over the weekend, heck yeah, we want to talk about it with you. Like, heck yeah, we'll recognize you. Like, take a chance. Like, advocate for yourself because you're trying to build a business here. If I lived in this office, I'd be recording podcasts all week, every single week to put out content on social media. I'd be working first. I'm not just in here recording podcasts to record podcasts, but I'd be putting out content. That's important. For me, I didn't have a podcast studio, so what did I do? I started to build a small team. The team got a little bit bigger. I started to record our team calls we did once a week, put them on YouTube. Guess what? My YouTube videos started getting posted in the related searches on Andrew Taylor's videos, and people hit me up all the time. I do not have a huge YouTube channel. It's like 500 subscribers. I get hit up every single week by people. Every single week. Hey, I relate to your story. Hey, I watched that interview you did with so-and-so. It came up in a related video after I was watching something here. You know, I was just thinking about the industry. You know, I come from a similar background. So, you know, Darlene, we did a podcast today that was all about, you know, her being a business owner, her being a mother, a wife, all these things. Guess what? When that goes live, somebody, someday, sooner or later, you know, 5 years from now, that podcast is going to live on, and someone's going to hit her up and say, hey, I really related to that. So I think that's just important, posting on social media consistently. So I guess just for you guys, like what are some advice that you guys would give to everybody here about recruiting from day one? And maybe some of these people here, their day one already passed, but you know, day one can be today. Like you can just smack the reset button. So what would your advice be for recruiting starting day one? Go ahead, anybody.
What worked for me was following Trey Honeycutt's advice when I first started, which is to take 2 people a day from not knowing about Family First Life to knowing about Family First Life. And that can be any 2 people that you encounter within your day. The clerk at the gas station, the waitress that waits on you for lunch or for dinner, some sharp individual that you encounter throughout your day. We all encounter sharp individuals within our daily schedules. But just taking 2 people from not knowing to knowing, and you'd be amazed that, you know, you do that 5 days a week, that's 10 people a week that you've now introduced to Family First Life, and you're either going to get a new recruit from that conversation, or you just may, you know, help that family sell a policy from that conversation as well. So that would be my advice to new agents: just take 2 people a day.
I love it. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think one clever, easy way that you can reach people, because I'm not one. I've been in the network marketing stuff, and I've probably messaged everybody 100 times about different opportunities, and I did not want to do that. And ironically, this is the first time I've ever actually been able to build a team, so not doing that has paid off. But I think one way that you can reach people in a non-aggressive, like direct way, is just share what you do. Right? Like if you love what you do, like, and you help clients and you take a picture, I mean, you don't have to always post their face. You can images over their face, I guess. But like, just share what you do. Like I share when I, you know, go to an area and work and enjoy it. I share when I sit with a client and it's a cool story. And when you post positivity and you're happy, in other areas outside of your career, people are attracted to that, because most people, like, and probably everyone in this room probably weren't happy where they were before this, and that's why they looked, right? Most people are looking for something that they can do that they find fulfillment out of, they're excited about. Like, I've never once, and I can say this honestly, I've never once woke up since I've been here and dreaded even dialing, right? Like, never once. Like, it's 100% free. If you work, you have 100% freedom here. You can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, work wherever you want. And that's attractive. There's not many places that I can think of that have that, and then, you know, that you can also provide for your family. So I think just being real and sharing stuff. Like, don't be closed off on what you do. You don't have to like go and brag and, you know, go about it that way. And, you know, hit up all the entrepreneur groups and, you know, brag about how good we are. Just go help families. People are attracted to that aspect of the business.
So if you think about it like this, you're going to set on average about 30, 32 appointments a week. You're probably going to sit with half of them, 15 to 20, right? So what I do at the very end, after I've written the policy for my new client, is I always ask them this: hey, do you know anybody in your family or a friend that's not really happy with what they're doing? And then I go ahead and give them that opportunity right there to give me a name or two. But I generate a bunch of recruit leads just doing it that way, okay? Social media is great and good. I've got a recruiting service that's great and good. But I've found that when I'm actually with that client and they give me a name and they give me a number and I follow up with that person and I say, hey, listen, I just covered your friend or I just covered your mom. I've actually hired people when I cover their moms. So, just to let you know.
That's awesome. What about you,
That's
Darlene?
strong.
Advice for someone recruiting day one.
Well, I will be quite honest. I was very late starter in that. I got my license end of February last year, so really was Hall of Fame focused, which I did in 10 months. But I didn't have it on the radar about building a team, and it wasn't until I naturally attracted people.
Yep.
I was just posting what I did, what I loved. My friends could see the change. They were in the restaurant industry with me, and they started coming to me, like, tell me more about that. And they could just see me lit up. So I am a late starter, but I can see how that impact of constantly posting, your successes, your wins, not financially, but just, you helped a family, you love your day in the field, whatever it might be. It's going to attract people. So I wish that I, did think about recruiting sooner because I feel a little bit behind. But just know that little bit of activity that you're putting out there, people are watching, and they might not reach out to you the next day, but 6 months later, you might hear from someone you never thought you would. So.
Love it. What about you, Dean?
Similar story to Darlene. I posted everything. 4 years ago, when my life changed with this business, I overcame a lot of financial adversity, and I started sharing not even the opportunity, just what it did for me. I just needed to learn how to pay the bills, so I wouldn't go backwards again. But then that led to we made some money. We paid our bills 2 months ahead. We can take a vacation. We go on vacation. People are like, dude, what are you doing? You were broke 5 months ago. What are you doing? You're traveling, you're doing this, you're really enjoying life. And that's when people reached out. And what I would do, because I didn't know anything about recruiting, I would do a connection to my upline, would do a 3-way call. I'll let them do the talking, and they edified me and my work.
Yep.
So now what I do is if somebody has, hey, I want to bring this person on, perfect, bring them on, let's do a 3-way call. Let me edify you and what you're doing. Because it's hard to edify yourself towards somebody yeah, you're full of crap, right? They don't believe you. But when you edify that person, if I took you, Darlene, and you brought somebody on and hey, Dean, I got this person, they want to learn about the business, I would talk about her success. How she's a mother, how she's a wife, how she had a business, she overcame a lot of adversity to do this, and she's successful. This can be you. I don't talk about me. Because if they want to find out about me, they can talk to my direct. Because that's one thing you never want to talk about is your own self-ego in this business.
Yes.
Highlight others. That's how you win. And also utilize, I call it windshield time. Mm-hmm. If somebody reaches out about the opportunity and you're driving, call them right away. You're already driving, just put some headphones in and talk to them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the most important thing. My business grew 90% due to social media, all through warm market connections. It's not until a couple of years ago I started paying ads, and that didn't work out. So now I'm just doing strictly social media because it's free. Nina and Hayden do a phenomenal job at that.
Yeah.
Highlight the business, highlight the people that you're working with, and highlight what you're doing day to day, helping out a bunch of families, and how it's changing your life and your perspective. I'm not saying post all the dollars you make, but post about how it's changed your life. Mm-hmm. What has it done to you? For me, it's helped me grow mentally, and I became a lot wiser within business mind, if anything, throughout this journey.
I love it. One thing I want to touch on that Dean talked about, he's putting his manager on the phone with new agents. So there's something right here I learned a long time ago. It's called the credibility triangle. Okay, this is super powerful. So me and the prospect, what connects me and whoever it is I'm talking to? If let's say it's one of my friends from college. Trust, okay? Trust between me and Brody. Me and Brody, we both live in, he grew up in Oregon, I'm from Oregon, there's some sort of trust there. So I want to introduce him to our manager, Mike, okay? What does Mike do? Mike's going to go ahead and he's going to provide credibility for me. and I'm going to go ahead and edify Mike. Okay? So, hey, you got to spend some time talking to my manager, Mike. You know, a year ago, he was repairing refrigerators, and, you know, now he's been able to retire his wife. It's just been incredible through this business. I'd love for him to chat with you real quick. And what's Mike going to do? Mike's going to provide credibility for me. Hey, I just want to let you know that Jamie's a good agent, and he's going to help you out. He's going to be able to teach you, train you, lead, guide, direct you, help you in this business. And then he trusts me. Super simple. So if y'all aren't doing that, I don't do that enough. Like, that was just a reminder for me of, you know, there's times that Mike all the time, like, hey, you got 5 minutes just to talk to this guy real quick, and just really quick, Mike will edify me, I'll edify Mike, call's over. Simple as that. Hey, you're going to do a great job. Mike's going to lead you. He's going to teach you, train you. If you ever need anything, let me know. Simple as that. So just keep that stuff in mind kind of as we're going here. So we'll kind of close this section out here, you know, selling, recruiting, doing it all at the same time. Anybody, final advice? Why you should build an agency here at FFL?
I was like you, Jamie. I didn't plan on it. It just came. I just enjoyed being in the field, and I just wanted to change my life and have a better future for myself. And then the opportunity just presented itself. And then when I saw the structure of what it all involved and how it was able to build you a business and have control of it, I was like, I'm in. So you have to, in my opinion, like, you have to learn to love people in order to succeed in this business. If you don't love people, this is not for you, because we're in a people business. We help clients first, then we help our agents second, then we help ourselves last. So
Powerful. Anybody else? All right, that's going to conclude our final section here on how to sell and recruit at the same time.